Black women are not looking out for their own political interests and have not benefited from their modern political campaigns. Because the purpose of these campaigns is not to benefit or empower Black girls or women, but Black males or the community, which is a vague way of saying Black males are the priority. Black women have marched for immigrants, migrants, males, religions, and sexual orientation groups. Everyone except for themselves. They've made other demographics protected classes while complaining about no one protecting them. Still today, they don't seem to get that same energy will never be reciprocated. And Black women as a collective still don't understand they can't always trust people that look like them. Democrats purposely waste time and energy with fake outrage about topics like affirmative action, insinuating that Black women have only achieved anything from getting handouts, which is not true. Black women were not the beneficiaries of this action, but again, women allow their image to be used, not comprehending what that means. We do not realize the influence we have politically. Despite being such a small percentage of the population, Black women have had a sway on millions of non-Black voters who support the Democratic Party. The Democrats have done nothing but disrespect and use Black women, despite the term victim being used as a tool to insult and a silencing weapon by other people. Black girls are victims. The biggest victims of trafficking, SA, DV, and more harm. Neither party has tried to make an effort to correct this problem because they genuinely don't care. And Black women have not demanded action. Our population has very specific grievances that has gone unaddressed and unsolved. Criminal justice is one of the biggest problems. Black women are not criminals, but believe they are tied to criminality because of the males they live next to. They are rioting for Black males who have a history of harming Black women. Black women's supermammy complex has to go. Older generations who have turned a full blind eye on the horrid abuse Black girls and women have suffered are the biggest supporters of the Democratic Party. They have falsely claimed that Black people are capable of policing their own community, when these women have no control over their sons and actively hide and cover up their crimes against Black girls. They have hired Black male police officers who are frequently going viral abusing other Black people and going on rants about their hatred of Black women and how they are undeserving of protection. I wonder if this sounds like protecting and serving to those who want less police officers. Black women have every right to not like or trust police, but also find themselves in a position where police are necessary and actually aren't getting called enough. Obsessing over politics and being extremist is not in the nature of a Black woman. That's just the mammy in them. Unfortunately, we are in a polarized, hyper-political environment we did not choose to live in. Our status as women, and also Black, makes us a target for other people's identity politics. The right making targeted racial or gendered attacks. The left using the image of Black women to shield them and hide behind our identity. Especially when a biracial like Kamala Harris can get on stage, lie about being a Black woman, and then do something horrible that harms the country. Or Black women daring to be specified in any way and being accused of having privilege we do not have. Black American women specifically should take note that they do not always have to agree with an immigrant stance. Black American women built cultures, economies, inventions, etc. in this country for hundreds of years and have a reason to be invested in America. Immigrants have no history in this country and have no reason to care. Their ancestors' bodies are not buried here. Understandably, Black women are outspoken about disdain for America, but I don't agree to run for office with the job of fixing a problem and instead just complaining. If a candidate isn't going to resolve issues, then they shouldn't receive support. Black women have foolishly thrown their full support behind any Black women who will represent them in the worst possible way. These liberal women have taken office and done their job at causing further damage while doing absolutely nothing positive for their own group. Some of these women are actually the mothers of male criminals. Males who spend countless hours on the internet degrading black girls. I do not support black women getting behind the Republican Party for obvious reasons. No matter how socially or financially conservative a black woman is, I don't support rewarding racism with votes. I am indifferent to someone like Trump being in office, but I support black women business owners getting tax cuts and anything else that can benefit them economically. I would never advocate for black women campaigning, voting, or rallying for anything right-wing. It disrespect, and just like with the Democratic Party, your support and energy will not be reciprocated. I am not registered to either party and have never been so. Fortunately for me, I learned as a teenager scrolling online I don't blindly agree with popular liberal talking points. But I also learned there is no place for black women in a right-wing space. The Republican solution to American black issues is to pay black immigrants to be the face of them simply ranting about black Americans. They have no genuine interest in fixing any issues. They simply want to rant, insult, and throw in an occasional line about doing better to pretend they want solutions. Majority of black women in prison are locked up as a result of them unaliving their abusers. Girls who have been locked up for defending themselves will never see support from this group who claims to care about self-defense. For 10 years on social media, I've lurked in many different political spaces and paid enough attention to see everything I needed to see. Unfortunately, libertarian spaces are overran with people who are actually right-wing extremists. There are very few people in America that are centrist. Majority of black American women do have some conservative values and would be better off supporting a middle ground candidate that would share those same values. I think black women can benefit from withdrawing support from the party that does not serve or represent them. However, if you cannot see yourself properly represented by an independent candidate, then don't vote at all. I don't support black women attacking each other based on politics. It's childish and really, they're just caping for parties that don't care about us. Women are naturally very emotional and take things like our history to heart, but political strategy should never be emotional. Continuing to support Democrats because Republicans are making racist comments online is not the correct move. Democratic voters themselves also make racist comments online. Think of your vote as something more than a cosign. When you give a vote, ask yourself if you really want to support who you're voting for. What have they done for you, other than pandering and giving empty words? They can claim they're doing something for people of color, black people, marginalized groups, or women. But of course, we know the vagueness in these statements means nothing being done in support of black women. I already know that black women mostly use social justice to distract themselves from the various extreme problems in their own community. Liberals dangle the carrot of acceptance, equality, and a better life society in front of the faces of black women. But these women need to understand they will never get the carrot. When a black woman refuses to cape for a liberal group, they should expect to be met with insults and their humanity and compassion being questioned. Society has a habit of trying to publicly lambaste black women into going along with something, changing their looks, behaving in a certain way, defending certain groups, supporting online creators, etc. No other group in America constantly looks out for other people. Yet their goodness is never questioned. So black women should not care when they're being questioned. If you're a villain, then so be it. For decades, this has been the bullying attempts to enslave black women into mammydom, and often religion is used to support it. No amount of throwing on a cape for other groups of people will make them care about the plight of black women. Even those who sympathize have still done nothing to actually help our demographic. When these women practice the art of minding their own business, it's much easier to focus on what's important. I do not like or support these women who unfortunately are mostly younger college-aged girls, posting videos online of them taking up extreme positions. Every single time, it has nothing to do with Black women and does not benefit us in any way. The loudest liberal mammies are often suburban Black girls trying to prove their Blackness. Sadly, they themselves tie Black womanhood into something negative. They will only show up to defend hood rat antics, controversies, or excuse problems that actually need solutions. They are similar to white liberals in that they don't feel comfortable outwardly stating Black males are harming Black women. They don't feel comfortable condemning anything they genuinely disagree with in fear of being called anti-Black. Black women are unalived every 4 hours in America by these males, yet you haven't heard the typically loud TikTok girls speak on this. They distract themselves with foreign wars. They will only address it once it becomes a popular or trendy topic to touch on. Even still, they will say their words carefully and walk on eggshells. The next election cycle in coming up, and per usual, we should expect the typical propaganda machines. Stories in the media to garner outrage will come out in droves. Media shaming attempts will be turned up 10 notches, and maybe even the capital of Black women will be attacked by our scholarships or grants being threatened by higher powers. I wouldn't let that sway anything. To me, there is a lot of meaning and power behind my vote, and I take it more seriously than the average voter. It's possible the person for the job is a Black woman or possibly someone of another demographic. Seeing that we are a small percent of the population and cannot control everything, it's natural that most of the candidates will not be a part of our demographic. Spend the same energy on Black girls that you spent on everyone else. Write letters. Demand change. Talk to your local leaders and actually get active for Black girls. You don't have to play along in a two-party system when both parties treat you the same way. It's not your job to save the country or anyone else, or whatever liberal Black women think they're doing. Let your local and federal vote actually speak for you specifically, and research who actually will represent you in the way you want to be represented in office. If not, sit out the election and sip your beverage of choice while watching everyone fight on election night.